Jeff Koenig, Property Prep, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our tool videos got so much of a response on YouTube that we thought we would show you what we keep in the back of the truck. Come on, check it out. This is the back of my truck, and we're gonna show you everything inside and how we store it and how we use it. Jeff Koenig, Property Prep. We're inside now. We've unpacked everything from the back of my truck, and it's been a while since I've seen it all in one place. I got that truck about 2 years ago, and I'm really excited to have everything out. I'm gonna dust it off, and I'll show you what we use in our day-to-day, maybe some emergency supplies that you're not gonna use at all and hope never to use, and then some things that are good to have in general. The last time you saw this beautiful table in this setting in our shop here in River West, Milwaukee, is when we did our tool video. We'll leave a link in the description to tell you about that video, which is one of our most popular. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers and really appreciate you tuning in. If you have anything different that you would add or subtract, we'd love to hear from you down in the comments. I'm gonna start left to right and go over what I keep in the back of my truck under my tonneau cover. It's the first time in my career that I've ever had a tonneau cover, so I feel like I'm able to keep a little bit more expensive equipment than normal because we have high crime in our city, and unfortunately, there have been some break-ins to my vehicles over time, and that's why you saw some new tools the last time we did this. On the left is one of the coolest tools that I think I've picked up in the M12 Milwaukee lineup, and this is their compact inflator. I run this off of one of their M12 XC batteries, and this will inflate even my 35-inch tires on my truck, and is good for just general inflating, and if you get a nail in your tire, to have a way to pump it back up. You can set it to the PSI you want and it'll just run. Just make sure, because you're keeping the batteries in a hot or a cold environment, that you're monitoring the battery, because honestly right now this one is probably not have much juice. Oh, it's actually good. Next I have the High Lift off-road gear accessory pack, and this has chains, this has leather gloves, this has a recovery strap, and this is really stuff that's meant to assist with a high lift jack. I don't drive a lifted pickup truck anymore. This came from my last pickup truck, and I don't keep a high lift jack with me anymore because they're too heavy to keep in the truck and they're dangerous, allegedly dangerous. Don't sue me, High Lift. So I don't know why this is in here anymore. There's some recovery gear, probably not needed, but the gloves are, so you should always have a pair of leather gloves. Next, I have the V-Air, I think is how it's pronounced. This is a 12-volt compressor, and this will hook up to your car's battery, and this will be a more robust version of this inflator that I have. 2 is 1 and 1 is none, as we say. I don't remember if that's from the Cub Scouts or if that's from a guy on the internet, but this is the BMW of inflation tools. Next, I carry some cheap rope. This is, I think, 50 feet or 100 feet, and it's spooled up. This is not climbing rope. This is not arborist rope. This is nothing special. I use this actually if we're doing tree work and we need to pull something, and this is what we use. It's cheap. You can get it on Amazon and Home Depot. We'll leave links in the description for as many of these products as we can find. Next, we have 2 extension cords. I have a 16 gauge and I have a 12 gauge. The 16 gauge would just be, I have an outlet in the back of my pickup truck, and this would be used to run an extension cord if we're charging something or if we're using some lighting or something like that. I do have a snap-on work light that this plugs into, and this would be good for working under the engine if you were to have a problem, or if we are hanging it to do a repair outside in the middle of the night, if we're talking about working on a gas meter or working on a hose bib or something else that will be outside of a property at night. 16 gauge is mostly a useless cord except for lighting and very light duty stuff, but they're a lot more flexible, so they're usable in the winter much easier than the big 12 gauge cords are, and this is what we would use for tools. So I carry one of each. When we're going to the job sites, our carpenters and our handymen have big cords on their trucks. So the only reason that I would ever pull one of these out is in an emergency or if I didn't pack correctly for the day. Next, I have a clean caulk gun, a relatively clean caulk gun. We use the dripless. This is a CR200. Dripless tends to make the gold standard in caulk guns, and I've been using them for years. They're available online and available through your local Sherwin-Williams. I think they also might sell them at Menards. And I keep a separate one because people steal your caulk gun, and it's good to always be able to caulk. Next, we have our Rhino USA recovery kit. That's really replaced my off-road high lift stuff. In here, there are D-ring shackles, recovery straps, and there are also soft shackles for the axles. You really want to use soft shackles for your axles because if they go flying, your chance of decapitating someone or grievous bodily harm is significantly reduced. This Rhino USA kit, while I haven't tested it out extensively, I have used it once, actually at this building. The first day I got this pickup truck, it was winter and icy outside, and there were 2 ruts from where the compact cars in this neighborhood, all the pre-I go, and I came in with a big Super Duty truck thinking that I could keep it in 2-wheel drive, and I slid 25 feet right into the side of this building, and we used this to pull me out with one of our other trucks. So that's my experience with the Rhino USA. It got good reviews on Amazon. It got me off the side of the building, and I still haven't paid the $6,000 to have the bedside repaired on my truck. Next, I have the Rain-X 35-inch snow brush. And when you have a Super Duty truck, you want a really long snow brush so that you can reach without getting really cold. And the Rain-X one is, I think, what was on sale at the time and had good reviews. It has this little mini scraper thing and then a big scraper. And I've not had any problems with it. This is 1 season old. I replace them every other season or when they break. Next, I have a pair of Crescent bolt cutters. These are Crescent number 1s. And these bolt cutters come from my days in asset preservation, and they are used for cutting locks in places that people maybe don't want you to go, or if we have a tenant who leaves personal property somewhere that's been evicted. This is a hardened pair with the power pivot and really gives you some strength behind your cutting. This shovel is probably about 36 inches. And this is just for emergencies. I've never used it, luckily. I usually keep a snow shovel in the back of my truck in the winter, but this would be to dig yourself out if you had to extract yourself and perform self-rescue if you were off-road or at a job site where there was a lot of mud, or if you needed to plant a tree randomly. You know, sometimes you gotta plant a tree. Next is my respirator. This is a 3M branded respirator. This has filters that are 60923. And you gotta change these out very often. And this one fits my face relatively well. All the people who really use these in our company have face masks that are custom fitted. Mine's not, and I don't use it very often. But when you go into a house that's smoky, a hoarder house, or we're working with lead, this and the correct filters are necessary, and we'll switch the filters out based on what we're working on. In the back row, we have a SOG e-tool. This is their version of the military tool, entrenching tool. This is not something that you would ever use very often. Again, this would be an emergency shovel. This would be an emergency pick. And this would be for if you had to use the bathroom in the woods, if you really had to dig yourself out and your main shovel broke down and you didn't have a snow shovel, or if you find yourself in Ukraine and need to build a foxhole. I just put it in there. I'm not humping it anywhere, I'm just keeping it in my truck. So it's compact and something that you may use one day. I have an Equip hammock. I saw all the hippies in the park with one, so I thought maybe I would buy one. I had big dreams to hammock one day, but I work 7 days a week, so I have not had a chance to hammock at all. But I have a hammock if I ever get a day off and I'm in my truck. So some of this stuff is property preservation and maintenance related. Some of this is prepared citizen stuff, and some of this is for recreational use. And I would say the hammock is in the recreational use category. A tarp is a wonderful safety device. This could be used for signaling because of its color. I don't have a signal panel like you would see, but after the, I think it was in Pennsylvania maybe a few years ago, there was that road shutdown for a long time, and then the ice storms in Texas as well. It's really important to have a way to signal if you were to fall off the side of the road, or if you were stranded in a vehicle. In Wisconsin, we get a tremendous amount of snow, and you could fall off the road and someone may not see you if it's blizzard conditions because your tracks could be covered within a few minutes. So this tarp is reflective on the inside and is emergency signal color on the outside. And this would be great to effect rescue if you needed it, or also to keep yourself warm in an emergency. The next is the ARB 4x4 tire plug kit. I always believe that re-inflating your tire, if it's not through the sidewall, is probably a better option than to change the tire out in the field. I had those stupid locks on my tires, and I'm not even sure I know how to get the lock off. I should probably, next time at the dealership, order a normal lug nut. I keep talking about it, but I never do it. So I don't even know that I could change my tire, so I would need to patch it or call AAA. So be a man and know how to change your tire, and don't be like me. Next, I keep my pipe wrenches. These are 14 inches, rigid, and this is brass craft. Aluminum is the best. You should probably have an 18 and a 14 or a 24 or a 36 would be a great option if you're working in a place that has radiant heat or big pipes. My aluminum ones got stolen with the rest of my tools, so these were the two I have. I don't use them very often. I probably should get the new ones, but I couldn't rationalize spending the hundreds of dollars, so I took the extra ones from my house that I never use, and maybe one day I will replace them with what I had, which were the really good aluminum ones, but someone borrows them and don't give them back, or a thief permanently borrows them. So these are the iron ones, and I've probably used them once this year, and they get the job done. I have my boo-boo kit. We do a video, which I'll link down below, about my trauma kit, but this is for minor cuts and tears. I do have a really small one in my truck that would be my first line. This is a more comprehensive one, complies with the OSHA standards, and is large enough to keep on a job site. So this is my obligatory one, and probably not the one that I've used. You can see that this probably hasn't ever been opened. It just sits in the sun. So this is more of a compliance thing, not something that I dig into. I have most of this in the cab of my truck. I have a Fiskars X11 axe. I have a small silky saw in my truck that I've used. Never used this axe. I don't think axes are terribly safe for chopping if you're in an emergency, but this would be something good if you need it in a demolition job and you forgot some other tool that you may need. Could be good for an extraction from a vehicle in an emergency. I guess you could use it in an emergency off-road if you were stranded. I typically like axes and fancy ones, but as you can see, because of the changes in the climate, because this thing lives outside, essentially, the humidity causes rust. And I didn't want to put a fancy German axe outside to get rusty like this. So I'll probably never use this, but it doesn't hurt to have something, and they're cheap. You can get them on Amazon or at Home Depot. This is a tool that I've used in an emergency, and only once. This is Fiskars demolition bar. I sharpened this edge, and this is essentially a civilian halogen bar. And this is used for a vehicle extrication or demolition on a construction site. I've never used this side. I've never pried with it. I've only opened a door in a vehicle collision with it. So this is a great tool if you don't want to spend $300 on a halogen bar, or if you do demolition for a job, it might be worth testing out. I know that there's also the Stanley FatMax Foo Bar, which is a competitor to this. This was the one that was on the shelf. That's really everything that I keep in the back of my truck, and it's not comprehensive. You know, I'm not a wild prepper. I do believe in being prepared, and I do believe that you should be able to effect self-rescue and survive 24 hours out of the stuff you have in your vehicle, regardless of if it's your work truck, your personal car, your sports car. You should have something to fix your vehicle with. You should have some basic hand tools, and you should have a way to keep yourself warm. There are other products inside of the car that we didn't discuss that help with this, but this is the stuff that I keep in the back, whether because it's expensive, because I don't want it to become an airborne projectile in a car accident, or because I don't have room for it, and if you go on a date, you don't want all this crap in the back of your truck. So I really appreciate you guys taking a look at this stuff. Tell me what you think down in the comments. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. It would really help me if you guys could like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hit the bell notification. Every Friday we put out a new video. This one's a banger. Last week's was cool. We knocked out a roof in 2 days on 2 properties. And I think we have been really working hard to get you the best videos we can on a weekly basis. And I'm really proud of us as a team and the work we're doing here. As a reminder, we're a facilities contractor, do commercial cleaning and commercial repairs on any sort of building you might own or rent. Call us in Milwaukee, Wisconsin if you have any needs. We'll see you in the next video.